episode for a Sports Ed with Aaron.
And Danielle. Today we're going to talk about a few pretty major, I don't know, major, but some no newsworthy topics in today's episode. Uh, the first story that I want to talk about today is nationally the NFL's ratings are down, and they're down about 10% as far as viewership is concerned from 2015. Now, regional coverage, that means the Philadelphia market, New York market, everyone's watching their teams play, but when it comes to national games like Thursday night football, Monday night football, or even those Sunday afternoon 4:25, 4:30 games or Sunday night football, it's down overall. And one of the reasons more likely than not is because people just don't, either they're not have other things to do. Some people are even saying Colin Kaepernick and the national anthem protests are playing into it, or maybe it's just not a competitive matchup.
My opinion, I think it's just not competitive matchups. For instance, who wants to see the Bears play? Seems like they've been playing every night football. Who wants to see them? I mean, the Dolphins played. If we're talking about big games, we want to see the teams that have the name for themselves. We want to see the Patriots playing. Of course, New York has their fan base, their big fan base. The Giants playing, the Cowboys, America's team. They want to see those type of teams playing, which happen to be some NFC East teams. But those are the names that we want to see. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, Cam Newton and the Panthers. Nobody wants to see the Browns. Nobody wants to see the Bengals. We're not looking at those looking at those teams for those big primetime games. So I would take it as the competitiveness as far as the teams that are playing. I don't really want to watch shit. I just look at the highlight clips. Another thing they were mentioning is that fantasy football is playing a role into it, since more people are more so concerned with social media aspect and fantasy football. More people are just looking at the numbers and the specific players that are on their roster for fantasy football leagues. So that's contributing to the decline in viewership. So I take it it's a combination of lack of good teams matchups for the week for those primetime games, and things more so going to social media, fantasy football, and just looking at stats and getting their quick highlights and updates on their apps, Facebook, Twitter, things of that nature, since people are more so concerned about big action plays, the numbers, and who's going to be the championship of that fantasy football league to get that $1,000 pot. I don't know. That's if you're playing in some good leagues, Other leagues, 200, 100. Buy me a good meal at Del Frisco's. They sent me a card to say, thanks for coming, Restaurant Week Philly.
Yeah, but everyone believes the NFL is the kingpin of Sunday. You know, no one, nothing can touch the NFL, but we see there's actually some fault in the league, and viewership is down, ratings are down. So we'll just see what happens with that. Next topic: the Sixers' top pick, number one pick in 2016 draft, Ben Simmons, broke his bone in his foot, and he's out 3 months at least. Now, this is, I don't know, becoming a norm for Philadelphia Sixers fans. The organization is not something positive that you want to hear every year. One of your top prospects is going down with the injury, and you don't know if he's going to be able to play.
Well, we already seen it when they drafted Joel Embiid. They drafted an injured player, and now he's just coming in to start with this preseason. Hopefully, he'll be healthy enough to make it to the season. Nothing happened in the preseason play, so it is a big shock to the Sixers fan base. Of course, the coaches and the trainers and everything of that nature, because now you have to deal with someone who was a top pick, a top prospect. People were excited to see what he was going to do and things of that nature. So we're just trying to see whether or not there will be some things that will change in that aspect going on there. And hopefully he can make a return. I know there's talk that he might just want to stay out the whole season so he doesn't re-injure anything. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see, but it is a unfortunate situation that someone being compared to LeBron James and Magic Johnson early in their career has to not, end their season before it even begins. But Joel Embiid, he played pretty well his first preseason game back, and they actually played tonight at home versus the Wizards. He looks very rusty, very raw, but he looks like he can turn into a dominant all-star caliber center. I mean, he's body type, looks like a man amongst boys when he's out on the court, but he has to, figure out how to, play the center position against professional caliber men. On to the next interesting story. Uh, the NFL season, we're in 4 weeks in, and I looked at the records of each team, and I noticed about 44% of the teams, that means almost half, are not at 500, below 500. That means 1-3, 0-4. So, does that mean there's a lot of parity in the NFL where there's really not any great or good teams, or does that mean there's the quality of the talent it has diminished? Because for 44% of your league to be 1-3, 0-4, that's kind of, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Well, I think you just see, as far as you just have your powerhouse teams, of course, you have the Patriots with Tom Brady making his return. And you see those teams of that nature who have won the Super Bowl in times past, just keeping their star players in-house. So they've been able to keep the longevity going with talent on their roster. And you see the other teams who might have had a one-star player that just might have had good numbers for themselves, but the rest of the team really didn't do much. You're just seeing the disparity between the talent pool team-wise, and that's translating to the records that we see.
And it also means that if you can find a franchise quarterback and build around him for years, like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, even Matt Ryan, who's has been disappointing in terms of winning in the playoffs, but he's been consistent for his Atlanta Falcons team. Matthew Stafford, he lost Megatron. His team is not really good, but I believe if you can find a quarterback and actually build around him and make a consistent winning team, you might end up with less of a disparity between the top tier and then the bottom tier. But I don't know what the historical numbers are, but I think 44% is kind of high, but then that also tells you that the talent is spread out throughout the league and only maybe 4 or 5 teams are really elite.
Yeah, and then playing off that, we just see that we have 3 teams left that are undefeated. We have the Vikings, the Broncos, and the Eagles.
Yes.
But remember, the Eagles were on a bye week, so they're 3-0, whereas the other 2 teams are 4-0 heading into week 5.
So heading into week 5, we have tonight's matchup. The Arizona Cardinals go to play the San Francisco 49ers. And there's so much going on with the Arizona Cardinals. Only 1-3, former NFC championship game contender. What happened?
Who knows? But we already know that Carson Palmer is set to be out with a concussion. So who knows if that's going to translate to a definite L tonight for his team. But
Chip Kelly's playing at home in San Francisco. these games are usually low scoring or blowout, so I can't even tell you what I would predict for this game. I might predict a low scoring game.
Say close.
Yeah, close game.
Close. Yeah.
I think another interesting matchup coming out in week 5 is the New England Patriots versus Cav the Cleveland Browns. Sorry, I'm talking about basketball. But Tom Brady is returning for the first time this season, going against the worst team in the National Football League.
Well, this should be an interesting blowout. Not even, but it's a waste. I just think it's a waste. Just just take the L and go home. I don't know.
Tom Brady should be happy that he gets to face the worst team in the NFL, returning from a 4-game suspension. Nonetheless, I mean, I don't even see Cleveland being in this game, even though Cleveland is the home team.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah. Atlanta plays away against Denver. Now Atlanta,
Julio!
I think Atlanta is one of the top scoring offenses in the league. Minus the Eagles are the top scoring team in the league, but Atlanta's right behind them. And Julio Jones caught 300 yards last week, 12 catches and a touchdown. And Matt Ryan threw for over 500 yards. You're playing against one of the top defenses in the league away from home, so I'm really interested to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, we'll see how the numbers look.
Yeah. The Cincinnati Bengals play away against the Dallas Cowboys. Now the Cowboys are 3-1, right behind the Eagles in the NFC East division. Now Cincinnati played last Thursday night and blew out the Miami Dolphins, and Dallas, I mean, they're going home to play, but they're not really good at home. And maybe Des Bryant's probably going to play this game. But we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, and then their rookie quarterback, that's Dak Prescott. He's doing well. And Ezekiel Elliott, he stepped up to the plate. They were making comparisons of him and I think Emmitt Smith or something last week.
Gosh. Please.
But, we'll see.
Now let's talk about the Eagles playing in Detroit this weekend, coming off a bye week. Now Detroit is one of the worst teams in the league. I think they only won one game so far. They lost to the Chicago Bears. Now, if you lose to the Chicago Bears, who we already beat on Monday Night Football, I don't see how the Eagles could lose this game. Coming off a bye week, everyone's healthy. Carson Wentz is playing well. Zach Ertz will be back. Lane Johnson is still blocking for now, depending upon his appeal. And they're going to get their cornerback, Leotis McKelvin. So I'm thinking a blowout in Detroit, but the experts are saying it's going to be a close game.
Well, I'm calling it a W. So whether it's a blowout, showout, whatever, I'm still calling it a W. I'm not going to say blowout, but I'm calling it a win.
It's going to be a convincing win, yes. I believe.
We'll see, but I'm still with my team. Go Eagles!
Okay, now let's move on. Now, I don't watch baseball, but Major League Baseball playoffs have begun or are beginning. Now, I can't tell you who's really playing. I heard Toronto and Boston. So I don't know. But that's just something to talk about that's coming up right now. I mean, I don't watch baseball. I think it's boring. I think it's fun to play. A lot of people don't watch it. I only watch it if the Phillies were winning or
Speaking
got a long
of the
time
Phillies,
for that. We'll talk about that
Howard?
Later. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. The NBA preseason got kicked off this past weekend. Looks like the Golden State Warriors are going to be the team to beat. Again, with Kevin Durant, it's just going to be, I don't know, blowouts every night. Unless injuries occur, it's going to be blowouts every night. That's just the team to watch.
and Cavaliers.
Yeah,
I don't know. I know
Cleveland.
there was an issue with LeBron James being mad with the front office about J.R. Smith
Oh,
and
please.
contract
Okay.
issues and things like
You
that.
don't own the team, even though you think you do.
And then now you got Dwayne Wade
With Chicago.
with Chicago.
Yeah.
Is something going to happen in Chicago? Are they going to make a little spark matchup to?
I don't
show
see the
some
New
light?
York
I
Knicks
don't know.
doing anything with Derrick Rose and Carmelo and Porzingis.
I don't really
So,
see it.
I mean, the Lakers are rebuilding. I know Boston Celtics got Al Horford. So, the Eastern Conference versus the Western Conference, I still see Warriors coming out. We'll see. So, Aaron mentioned Ryan Howard, and that's one of my pretty much, I don't talk about a positive story for the week. Ryan Howard officially or unofficially has ended his career in the city of brotherly love. He was called up in September of 2004, and his last game was last Sunday, October 2nd, 2016. Now, Ryan Howard, over his professional career with the Phillies, was 2005 Rookie of the Year, 2006 MVP, a multiple All-Star, a home run machine, and a World Series champion. The only championship we have ever witnessed in the city of brotherly love in our lifetime.
And I ran out in the street like a nut saying, "Woo, Philly!"
2008 World Series champion. Unfortunately, we didn't get to go to the parade. Well, I just started a new job after graduating college, so I couldn't take any time off. But Ryan Howard did a lot for the city. He brought a lot of fans to watch the sports that probably weren't even interested in Phillies baseball. And he did a solid job overall, hitting home runs, being involved in charities. And he never was really a problem off the field. So he was someone you could pretty much want your children to look up to if you wanted them to have a positive sports figure. But yeah, congratulations to Ryan Howard.
Now, what are we getting into? All right, you've been educated segment.
Yeah.
So what you got for us this week, Danielle?
I want to talk about endorsements and sponsorships.
Okay.
Now, an endorsement is an act of giving approval or support to someone or something, and usually is in the public eye. So, like, we endorse people for president. We endorse.
I don't know about this election. Trump or Clinton. Canada.
We endorse people just in public office. We endorse food products and we make suggestions, and then we have sponsorships where an organization, a person provides funds to an activity or to a project, usually to another person. So I just want to talk about how these athletes, why do they need endorsements and what's the purpose? Basically, it's just to make extra cash in addition to their contract with their own team. And so, like LeBron James, he signed a lifetime contract with Nike. So they're expecting him to make over $1 billion from Nike. Now, $1 billion just from an endorsement with a company like Nike. I mean, LeBron James is rich hundreds
for life.
For life. Lifetime. Hundreds of times over. He's already earned, according to what I've read, over $169 million in salary by the NBA just over his lifetime. And he makes over $40 million a year in endorsements and major sponsors like Nike and Gatorade.
And why are so many children starving in America?
Oh my God.
Why are there so many homeless?
Exactly.
Come on, put your money into these rehabs, these housing developments, these food banks and education. And of course, people need to do for self. But that's a whole nother thing.
Kevin Durant has a $300 million contract with Nike. He makes over $30 million in off the court endorsements by all these major brands. Stephen Curry, his Under Armour deal. He's got stock in Under Armour, royalties in Under Armour. He makes like 12 million off the court. Cam Newton, Under Armour, Gatorade, Oikos, Foot Locker. He makes about 11 million. Tom Brady, he only makes about 7, but that's just because of the nature of the sport of football. And the major endorsements are like tennis and golf. Tiger Woods was like the second in endorsement, made like $50 million. The hockey guy, Sidney Crosby, only makes about $4.5 million in endorsements. The tennis star, Roger Federer, he was number one, $55 million a year in endorsements. So they're making all this money outside of what their profession is. Why can't we do that? Man, I need to find me a sponsor. I'm like,
come on, somebody want to sponsor Sports Ed?
Somebody want to sponsor Sports Ed? We'll put you
Nike,
up on the wall.
ESPN, NFL Network, somebody, anybody,
NFL. We need someone to sponsor us.
With our own shows. No network, our own network, Sports Ed.
We'll wear your gear for free. We'll endorse you. We'll be a positive image for you, and we won't let you down. I don't understand. Remember Ryan Lochte lost all his endorsements for that foolishness in the Olympics?
Yeah.
These athletes got millions of dollars of off the court, off the field money that just supplements their $1 million salaries. And you see the lavish lifestyles daily, and it's just business. Someone said you use the business aspect for gain, for personal gain, and that's what you got to do. You got to use the laws, use sponsorships, use endorsements for your personal gain. Because in the end, they say it's about making money and taking care of your family.
Do they pay their taxes? That's a whole other story.
Oh my God.
Well,
you do what the law allows. You do what the law allows. If you're a smart business person, you do what the law allows.
Well, this has been episode 4 of Sports Ed with Aaron
and Danielle.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.